Hi, this is Jan. Welcome back to my channel. For what feels like something that I've been trying to do. Sorry, Echo's under the table and she's trying to get me to play with her, and now she's under the tripod. It feels like it's something that I've been trying to do for a long time, but every time I go to do something oh look, here she comes to say hello. Yes, I don't want you to at the moment, Echo. Yeah, so I started trying to film this morning, but the battery died halfway through, which is especially annoying because I checked it yesterday knowing that I was doing this today to see if it needed charging, and it said no, it was 100%, but it clearly wasn't, so that's rather annoying. But I've not been up to date on my bargains that I've been picking up because the last couple of weeks have all gone kind of a bit strange. I mean, of course, everybody, no matter where you are aware that we lost our Queen, which meant that the whole country kind of went into, well, we went into 10 days of national mourning, but it meant that things that would have been open weren't open, and it just kind of threw everything into a bit of a tailspin, which I'm perfectly happy about, but it just meant that things like boot sales that would have happened didn't. And in fact, I'm really proud that the people who are running the boot sale, some went ahead, but the people that did close them, it wasn't just a patriotic thing to do, it actually hit them in their wallet, because, you know, that's their income, you know, people that running the boot sales, and to suddenly turn down an awful lot of money out of respect, to me is a huge thing, which I have a lot of respect for. But anyway, even before that, we'd had a weekend where Saturday we went to a boot sale and only got 2 things, and then the Sunday we didn't do any boot sales because it was the Alternative View conference. I used to go to the Alternative View conferences when they were live events held in a hotel, and it was an annual conference, and the entire hotel would be taken over by it. So you were either a speaker or I've lost the word, is it delegate or attendee, but anyway, the people going to it would spend the entire week together, which meant that not only were you seeing these amazing talks and all the fabulous speakers, but also because everybody ate together, you would invariably be sitting next to somebody at breakfast, lunch or dinner who had done a talk themselves, so you got your own one-on-one conversation with these amazing people. And this is something that I've been going to for years and really enjoyed. And I used to go on my own, and Neil would stay at home and look after the dogs, but after my last episode in hospital, I wasn't well enough to go on my own, so Neil actually started coming with me as my carer. And Ian R. Crane, who ran the Alternative View, it was actually his whole brainchild, had become over the years a friend of mine. But unfortunately, not only did COVID stop the live events, but also at the beginning of COVID, Ian himself passed away, not with COVID. So it meant that AV, although it continues, it's in a different format. At the moment it's still online. They're hoping to get it back into a live setting at some point in the future, but at the moment it's an online conference. So Saturday was the boot sale, Sunday was the conference, which started at 9 in the morning and then carried on till about 10 o'clock at night, which is how it used to run when it was a live event. You know, it was a real jam-packed few days of things going on, but incredibly interesting and something that I got a lot of value from, and Neil when he started coming as well. So we lost a Sunday boot sale to the AV conference, and then the following weekend I think the Queen died, I think on the Thursday, but a lot of the boot sales had closed as a mark of respect to the Queen, and, you know, the country then being in mourning. So we didn't have any boot sales that weekend, and then we've only really had this weekend just gone. Next weekend we have Sunday is the last of the mega boot sale, which is the one that alternates between Poynings and I was going to say Shaves Thatch, but that is the Poynings one, and Hicksted, which is Sayers Common. Each of the areas has kind of two different names that it's known by, so it doesn't take a lot to confuse me, but trying to explain it to other people I confuse myself. But anyway, this Sunday coming is the last one in the season for that particular boot sale. But also this Sunday, because tomorrow is the autumn equinox, we have the autumn equinox ritual at the All Cannings Long Barrow, which is where my ashes will go after I die. I have a niche there, and my mother and father's ashes are already in the Long Barrow. So we like to go along and try and get to as many of the open day rituals as we can, and those are held 4 times a year on the solstices and the equinoxes. But I'm kind of torn this year whether we go on Sunday, which is autumn equinox, or if we leave it till the winter solstice, which has a lot more meaning for us because both my parents passed away on the winter solstice, although 3 years apart, which was took some timing. And the Long Barrow is aligned to the midwinter sunrise. But that particular one, because it is a sunrise, and if it's not cloudy, then the sun will rise and shine down through the corridor to the altar stone at the far end. So that has to be an early morning, which either means staying there overnight or getting up incredibly early, sort of leaving home sort of 3:30 in the morning and to get there in time for that. So it's all a bit up in the air what we're doing at the moment. So this weekend may go to a boot sale. Well, we'll do the Saturday one, may go to the Sunday one at the moment, not entirely sure. But I have, surprisingly enough, although it seems weeks since I've done one of these videos for you, I seem to have very little here, even though it's been several weeks. But one of the first things that I got, if you've seen my video of weighing the dogs, you'll know that I've got a veterinary scale, and once a month I weigh the dogs. It kind of started off with Echo as a puppy to keep an eye on her as she was growing, and Reckless at the end of his life to keep an eye on his weight, because we didn't want him dropping too much. We were working really hard because he had a tumour in his stomach to keep him going with enough nutrition to keep him losing my words again, sorry about that. But so weigh the dogs, and also with Bear being older, if the dogs suddenly start to drop weight for no reason, it's a good indication that there's a problem. So I like to weigh them monthly, keep an eye on them. I weigh Neil and I at the same time, so the whole family gets a weigh in once a month, so I've got an idea of what's going on. But I needed a new mat for the scale, just to stop give the dogs something a bit more gripping to, and the old mat that I use at the moment is old, so I just wanted to pick up a new one, and I found this one which has got the lovely rubberized backing on it. It's only a doormat, but that's exactly what I need. Pop it on the scale, zero it, and then the dogs can stand or sit on it and have their weigh in, and that's all good. And I picked that up for £1. It was brand new. It's got a few bits of flick on it at the moment. That's just kind of bits that it picked up from the boot sale itself, and since being home, dog hairs go on it and things. So that was number one. Then the Saturday boot sale a couple of weeks ago, only picked up 2 things. One of them was this Cath Kidston strawberry mug. Oh, I've just dropped something, excuse me. Yeah, strawberry mug. It's quite a large mug, but that was a nice one. That was 50p. I picked that one up for. And also a Cath Kids little backpack. I wouldn't normally pick these up at all, but this one seemed to be in such good condition, and it's, you know, almost coming up to Christmas, so I thought, well, I'll pick it up and maybe pop it on eBay and see if I can get a couple of quid for it. So picked that up as well. So that was the only things from that particular Saturday boot sale. Then I've been thinking about, as I expect everybody has, about keeping the house warm this winter, with fuel prices being as high as they are, that something that I've said that I'm going to do ever since I've moved into this house 40 odd years ago is put a curtain across the front door, because we do get quite a lot of draft coming in from that front door. And we used to have a boiler in a cupboard in the hallway, so we've got a vent in the front door, but now the boiler isn't there, there's no reason to have the vent, but so that lets quite a lot of cold air in. So I thought if I just get a curtain to go across that front door, that would help to keep the house a little bit warmer. So I just popped onto Marketplace, and all I was looking for is a curtain that was long enough and lined so it was thick enough. Apart from that, I wasn't really fussed about what it looked like. You know, I don't spend the hall is quite literally a transitory space for me. I walk through it, I don't spend any time in it, so it didn't really matter what it looked like. And then I found this that said Laura Ashley for £15, brand new. And I contacted the lady and said, do you still have them? And she said, yes. Do you want one pair or both pairs? Well, I didn't know there was a second pair. Actually, that one is the second pair. The pair that I'd seen was that pair. So that's a big set of full-length lined Laura Ashley curtains, which I didn't even realise until I got them home. This red is the exact colour of my carpet on the stairs and landing. So it actually matches the lampshade as well. So that's a really good find. They're brand new. She'd bought them for a house, then moved into the house that I picked them up from. Didn't fit the new house, so I managed to get them. And the ticket prices on these from when she bought them was the smaller, shorter pair were £90, and the bigger pair £130. And I know she said she was pretty much smarting from the amount of money that they cost, and now she got no use for them. But I picked up both pairs for £15 each, so I'm very, very happy with those. And I'd been thinking as well that I may put a different pair in my bedroom, because I've just got single curtains there. So in some ways it would make sense to have a pair of lined curtains, but then on the other hand, I sleep with my window wide open all year round. Doesn't matter what the weather's doing outside. If I'm in bed, my window's as wide as it'll go, so I don't know. But I thought, well, anyway, I'm sure that I could find a home for them if I don't want to use them myself. But so, oh, they're slipping down now behind me. Let me just stand them up behind me. And I've just noticed actually that if I wasn't going to use the doormat for the dogs, I could use it as a front door, because that would actually go as well. In fact, I might even do that. Oh, and then all I've got to do on weighing days is just pick it up from the door. There's a thought. And also going along the lines of keeping warm, I'd walked past this at the boot sale, kind of carried on walking, and then on the way back to the car it was still there, and I thought, well, I'll just ask how much. It's one of these shawl, if I got it right, yeah, you can see it there. It's a heated foot muff, one of those big granny things. Well, I am a granny, so it wasn't until I got to the car that I found out that it's also a massager. So it massages and heats, and I got that for £1, and it looks brand new. Oh look, Echo's being naughty. Oh, that's Echo, what are you doing? So I'll be able to sit there with my curtain across the door, my feet nice and warm. I was looking out for one for Neil because I thought once I've got me one, he's either going to want to share it or I need to buy him one, although he was horrified when I said I nearly bought you one. But the one that I found for him, the lady wanted £7 for, so he didn't end up getting one. But we'll see. I'll see how much I use mine. If he likes it, if he does, then we'll see about getting him one. But another thing I've seen all over the internet at the moment, Facebook and YouTube, it keeps popping up with these adverts for these little mini plug-in heaters. And there was a lady with a couple of them, and she said that she'd ordered one and 5 arrived, so she was selling her spare ones. And it is literally just that's a UK plug. I don't know if that comes off and there's an American one behind it. It feels like it's got a second plug there. But it's a little heating element there and a fan on it. I haven't even plugged it in yet, so I've got no idea how well it works. In the adverts it says that you can heat a whole room in 5 minutes and it's incredibly cheap. I don't actually believe that. And on the adverts they all seem to be, you've got to go through the whole infomercial thing first. Then by the time it takes you 10 minutes to get through to the price, it's one of those where you can have it at half price and it's only £50 today, or if you buy 2 or 3 or 4, you know, you get them cheaper. And I thought, well, I don't want to pay £50 and then find out it doesn't work. But this lady wanted £5 for this one, so I thought, well, I'm willing to risk £5. And I did say to her, do they work? And she said, well, it wouldn't heat a whole room, but if you're in a cold room and you're working at a computer or something and you have it on the desk, it's enough just to keep your hands warm. So I thought, well, give it a go. So I got the heater and the foot muff and the curtains, so I should be nice and toasty this winter. And the box says that it's the environment is pleasantly. And we must keep the environment pleasantly, mustn't we? And it's supposed to be really cheap to run as well. I don't have a smart meter, but if I find one, in fact I don't, I think the nearest person that I know who's got one is down at the coast, but somebody local must have a smart meter, and maybe I'll ask them to plug it in and just see if it does work really, really cheaply or not, but we'll see. I don't really think I'm probably going to use it that much at all, but who knows. Then I don't usually buy books myself at boot sales, but this one just caught my eye. This is the Great Narrative for a Better Future by Klaus Schwab. Do you remember that name? And Thierry Malloret. I think it's Malloret, I'm not sure if I've pronounced that right. But this one talks about since COVID started, so I think this may be almost a sequel to the Great Reset. I don't know, but I just felt that I kind of ought to know what they've got planned for us, because I'm very suspicious, and I didn't want to spend out full book price. I don't want to put a penny into these people's pockets that I don't have to, but at a boot sale I'm willing to spend out on it for £1, and I've got a list of people who've asked to read it after me, so it'll get shared out a bit, so that's good. Well, I don't know if it is good, it might be awful. Perhaps I ought to do a book review afterwards. Comment down below if you're interested, or if you've read it. Have you read The Great Reset? Because I haven't read that yet. I've had a brief look on the World Economic Forum website, but haven't really taken it any further than that. I was looking on the Sunday boot sale, I was looking at a Cath Kidston-like bag on one of the charity stalls, and the chap there said you can have that for 20p, but it wasn't Cath Kidston, and I didn't actually want it. But then I started to feel guilty because it was a charity stall, so I had a quick look round and thought, well, is there something that I would use that then I can walk away and not feel guilty about. And I noticed a rather nice pestle and mortar. It says grind, as if you don't know what to do with the pestle and mortar. And it's Ecology, says on the bottom. That's all it's got on the bottom. Ecology. So I think I'll give my son the one I already have, and I'll keep this one because it follows the white theme in my kitchen. So that was 50p, and I was able to walk away and not feel bad about not buying something I really didn't want to. Earlier in the year I bought 2 mugs the same as these, only in yellow. These are in blue with the red trim, and they are by Churchill. Kind of very Art Deco look about them. And they were 2 for £1, but I thought possibly if I put them with the 2 yellows, might come up with a bit of a profit on those 2. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't been listing for a long time. I've kind of got myself into gridlock. When I say gridlock, I mean kind of physically, mentally and emotionally. Everything physically around me in the house was totally gridlocked. You can't see from this angle, I don't think, but I've got 2 enormous cupboards behind me, and everything in them had just been kind of taken out and put back completely wrong, and stuff moved out and about, and it got to the stage where I'm the sort of person who knows where absolutely everything is in the house. Chester, sorry about this, there's something happening outside that Chester's talking about. And last week it got to the stage where I'd written a letter and I couldn't find an envelope, and I was almost in tears. I was in such a state because my house is in so much of a mess at the moment, which I'm fully taking on board. It is my fault, I'm not blaming anybody else for it, but it just got to the stage where in order to do job A, you've got to do job B. But before you do job B, you've got to do C, and before that you've got to do D, and before that you've got to do E, but you can't do E unless A is done. And it was just, everything was just totally gridlocked, and I just couldn't get anywhere. And because I'm physically gridlocked, I just became kind of emotionally gridlocked, and just felt as though everything was just shutting down because I couldn't do anything. I would just sit there thinking of all the things that needed doing, and then not able to get any of them done. So it was really, really getting on top of me. So during the week last week, I thought I have just got to bite the bullet and completely empty out one of the cupboards so that I can put it back in, put everything away the way it should be put. And having done one cupboard, I had to empty out the second one as well, because some of that they'd both got muddled up and mixed over. So I ended up doing both the cupboards, so that has kind of freed up a lot of energy, both me in the house, but it means I've also got a lot of things now that need completely sorting out still in the room, which is why I'm sat in a different place to normal. I'm on the sofa, so I could put up a side table and sit down and talk to you, but still go through the things that I've been buying. But sorry, I'm rambling. I'm starting to lose the thread of what I'm saying, but basically I'm beginning to get over the things that were blocking me. But and on top of that, I'd had all the issues that I've had with computer, and you know, even little things like the camera, trying to use the camera this morning, batteries needs charging, so I got everything out ready to film, but then I had to go and charge the battery up, so I had an hour and a half to film while that was getting fully charged. But I'm beginning to tick off those little jobs, but I've still got this issue with my iMac, in that if you've been watching my videos, I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, that I turned the iMac on a couple of weeks back, and nothing. It was just absolutely dead as a doornail. And my entire life runs through the iMac. You know, I pay all my bills, I list my eBay, everything is done through the iMac. And all of a sudden I didn't have that. I have got an old laptop, but it's like 10 years old and very slow, so I had to update all that. Took the whole update, and then it said no, it's got to take it all off again because it's not compatible. So, but I have got a computer upstairs that was working, but I had all my database was on the iMac. And when I started using the laptop to pay bills and things, it got upset with all the different accounts that I have got, really upset that I'm using a different computer to access them. eBay didn't like it. They all started asking me to log in with passwords, which of course I did. And then they were all saying, no, that's the wrong password. But it isn't. You know, that is the password that I always use. But it was just all a bit of a nightmare. And even now, I'm now locked out of my verified by Visa on the card that I used, the bank account that I used to pay my bills. It started saying, it was asking for passwords, and I'm sure that I put in the right password, but it said it wasn't. Anyway, it gave me 3 chances, locked me out. Okay, fine. Tried to phone up, and I really don't like talking to anybody on the phone because I have aphasia. So, because I have this sensory process, my auditory sensory processing is off, so I can hear the word but don't necessarily understand what it means. So I try and avoid the phone at all costs, but kind of screwed up all my courage to get on the phone to phone them. And first day I phoned up, it's we're currently experiencing a 30-minute call wait. Then the second day it was an hour's wait, and I still haven't managed to get through to get that sorted out. Which means that now I have to take the money out of the account that it's in, put it into another account that works on a MasterCard, so I can get it through on that one. So I'm just having to juggle all my money in order to just do things that should take 5 minutes are taking half an hour or so. So it's all a bit stressful at the moment, even so. But back to the boot sale. Saturday, at our local boot sale, I found a set of 4 of these bone china mugs, and these are Laura Ashley and they're Jean. Nice bone china. So I got a set of 4, they were £4, and then there was an awful lot of Denby there. I was walking past boxes and boxes full of Denby, but there were these 4 sat on a stall, which the lady said she wanted £1 each for them, which isn't a bad price, but for some reason I thought, no, I'm not paying it, and carried on walking. Then as I'm walking, I started thinking, I'm going to get home and regret not getting those. So then I had to go and find the stall that they were on and hope that they hadn't been sold. Fortunately, when I got back, they hadn't. And this is this design is called Venice. I'm particularly attracted to that handle. Can you see the way it curls up at the bottom there? I've not seen that on any of the other Denby mugs. But this particular pattern is discontinued and apparently very, very rare. And these now sell on these crockery finder websites. These sell for about £18 each. And I managed to pick up 4 of them, all in perfect condition, with the exception, I'm trying to find the one that hasn't got it, is 3 of them, the Denby mark at the bottom has washed off, and that does happen with Denby markings sometimes. One of them has it still. So as a set of 4, I'll be able to photograph it, say that 3 of them don't have the mark, but they're all identical, so that should be fine. But that's all in all. I'm very glad that I did go back to pick those up, because they obviously have some good resale value when and if I ever get around to listing them. You know, like I say, I'm just so behind with listing, because because of this mental gridlock